I'm Ryan Armbrust. I'm the Rural Forestry Coordinator.
I'm Matt Norville. I'm the Community Forestry Program Coordinator.
And I'm Ryan Rastok, the Forest Health Coordinator.
Today we're talking about
the Ponderosa Pine. So some characteristics of the Ponderosa Pine, as you can see, is its orangish red bark. If you smell the tree, it smells like butterscotch, grandma's candy. It has soft pruning branches, so you won't see a bunch of dead branches below it. It'll fall off by itself, which contributes to it being a fire-resistant species. It also has long needles, or fascicles, bundles of needles that are in groups of 2 to 3 per fascicle. So those are some easy characteristics when you're identifying the Ponderosa pine. And they have bracts or points at the end of the cone. They're an average size, not the biggest, not the smallest, but they plant the seed, they get the job done.
All right, and here at the Forest Service headquarters here in Manhattan, we've got this really cool stand of Ponderosa pines. They were planted sometime between about 1933 and 1940 by a guy named Dr. Donald Duncan. It was part of a provenance study, which is just a long way of saying he planted a whole bunch of seeds from a whole bunch of places of a whole bunch of different species to see what would happen, what would live best here in Kansas. Because in Kansas, we don't actually have any native pines, so we got to figure out what's actually going to work well here. As it turned out, all the Austrian pine, Scotch pines died, but all these Ponderosa pines lived, and so we've got a ton of them here, all of them about 90 years old, give or take. Some of them come out because they're old now, but we've actually been replanting some of them. Like the one behind me here, this little guy, he's not 90 years old, but someday he'll be as big as these here.
And so Ponderosa pine, while we have a large stand here that's been growing for about 90 years for this provenance study, you don't see a lot of an abundance of successfully established Ponderosa pines in Kansas, because really we're getting a little bit too far east outside of that range. So they suffer from a lot of environmental stress, and then which can cumulatively bring in some of the insect and disease issues that they would experience. And so some of the insects you'll see would be Ips bark beetle. You'll be able to see some of the tunneling beneath the bark of the tree. Pine tip moth, maybe some spider mites, and then some of the diseases that you'll see would be Dothostroma and Diplodia tip blight into the needles, causing some of that damage there in the foliage.